We here. Hey, hey, hey. Happy Thursday. How y'all doing? Hey, hey, hey. How are you? Happy Thursday. Oh my goodness. Hopefully you can hear me. I see Maureen became a channel member. We're starting this celebration off right. Yes. Hey, welcome, Maureen. Thank you for joining the membership. Hey, hey now. Awesome, awesome. Chef B was the first in the comments. She was like, yo, congratulations. Peace and love. Thank you. I appreciate it. Oh my goodness. Hey, the Howards, how are you? Yes, the newest resident in Portugal. Yes, yes. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Right? There are Blaxit Global has an ecosystem. We have the Blaxit Global podcast, the Blaxit Global website, the YouTube channel, passport, all the things, and a membership. And we also have a freedom channel on Instagram now. And then also, I can't forget, some of you are kind enough to support Blaxit Global through our Buy Me a Coffee, which has been great. So thank you for that. So it's been fantastic. Oh my goodness. Hey, Moni, how are you? I am. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. Let's see who else is here. Sheila. Congrats, Krishan. So happy. Excuse me, and excited for you. Can't wait to secure mine at this time next year. Yeah, let's see if we can speed up that timeline. Let's do this. Let's do this. Parabéns. Yes. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, it's been a journey, y'all. It's been a journey. Hey, Stephen, how are you? Hey, hey, hey. Hey, Karen. Hey, hey, hey. Thank you. It's official. I can't wait to tell you guys the whole story because there's been a lot of things happening in Portugal lately. Oh my goodness. Yes, everybody is in the chat tonight. I wasn't expecting this many people. I was all late with sending out the email and the social posts because yesterday was the day and the lead up had my full attention. And so I was like, oh my gosh, today's Thursday. I haven't sent out an email. I haven't told the people what we're going to talk about. Are they going to come? And y'all came. So I appreciate that. Oh my goodness. Hey, 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 TJ RSS Sabel. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, coding nurse, twin mommy Denise. Yes. Hey, hey, hey. Oh, you guys are wonderful. Thank you. Grethlin, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Hang on one second. Ooh, I've been doing a lot of talking. And a couple hours ago, I just came back from physical therapy because I go to the dentist to help correct my bite. And unlike the States who said I should have surgery, they have been massaging my face and my jaw and my temples and all in here. And so I'm partially relaxed. And then tomorrow I have a masseuse coming to the house, and that's going to give me more relaxation. Ah. Yes, finally you caught alive. Hey, Vicky G's in the house. Vicky, I'm in Portugal. Of course I have a wine glass. I just didn't show the peoples yet. Of course, it's a wind down. Yes, yes. Steven said, hit the like button. Please, please help this channel grow. Because I have a goal by the end of this year, 2023, and to get us to 5,000. We're at 4,100. So let's see if we can do that in the next few weeks. That would be a nice way to end this year. And starting next week, yes, I think it's next week. Starting next week, I start recording the podcast. So it's leading up to be busy season for me. As if, I haven't been busy between moving, getting my daughter to college, moving to Portugal, putting on the Move to Portugal Virtual Summit with our Black Utopia, entertaining folks that come through, because, we be doing that, and planning meetups. So we got all the things to talk about. Yes, and I should also say, for those of you who have questions, feel free, drop it in. Yeah, I will definitely talk about my dental experience because it has been pleasant, and definitely in gratitude for my dentist. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, thank you, thank you. So for those of you who don't know me, because probably 6 minutes in and who the heck is this woman and why are they saying congratulations? I'm Krishan Wright. I'm the founder of Blaxit Global and the host of the Blaxit Global podcast. Blaxit Global exists to empower, inspire, educate, and inform members of the African diaspora to pursue a life abroad, like I have. I am joining you from Lisbon, Portugal. And I'm celebrating my residency approval. Woo, woo, woo. Woo, 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 woo. So I figured tonight, it might be helpful for some people to talk about what happens before and then what happened yesterday. So I think that's how I want to talk about today. But let me know. Let me know if you're of a different opinion. I'll just be drinking some water and sipping on some vino. I would put on music, but once I do that, the algorithm is going to be like copyright infringement. So when you're wherever you are, put on your favorite song in the background, some celebration music, so I can feel the vibe. Okay, it'll be in my mind. so yeah, let's do that. Let's see. I probably need to open up a new window. Let's see, because I do want to show you guys. Let's see. Let's make it like a workshop because I have some ideas for next Thursday too. So, some of you don't. Thank you, Dre Black. I appreciate that. Some of you don't know about all of the resources that I have been creating for Blaxit Global over the past 3 years, and it might be helpful to share. So, we're going to try and do this. And yes, it's this one. Yes. Okay. So you guys should see this. I can't see you right now. So this is join our mailing list. If you're not already on the mailing list, if you're on the mailing list, you got an email today, probably 45 minutes ago. This is blaxitglobal.com. Let's see if my mouse is going to cooperate because I'm really testing the efficacy of my the memory of my computer tonight. It's like, girl, what are we doing? Let's see. I don't know if it's going to behave. I think my computer's like, girl, you got too many windows open. Let's see if I can close some windows and get some memory back. All right. If not, I'll do it and then I'll put the screen back up. Let's see if I close one more thing. If I can no, my computer said, girl, don't even try it. You already know. Wait, let me fix this. Okay, so we have a bunch of resources on blaxitglobal.com. Okay, now I got it to fix. I had to close so many things. I'm one of those people that have 9 million tabs open. I just shamed myself. So if you go to... Okay, that's probably better. Okay, you go to blaxitglobal.com. This is our site on the web, on the internets, right? So go to blaxitglobal.com. We are posting now events because putting on events. We just put on the Move to Portugal Virtual Summit. And for those of you who haven't finished, or I should say it again, for those of you who missed the Move to Portugal Virtual Summit, was co-hosted by Blaxit Global and Our Black Utopia. It's not too late because if you have an all access pass, or if you're buying a replay and want to include the all access pass, which allows you to watch the replays for up to a year, we have 3 more sessions live this Saturday. I will be sitting here in this office, in this chair, and we have the men's talk, and that's for all members, all pass holders. We'll have a men's talk that's facilitated by Rick from Our Black Utopia. And then we also have the bonus session with Sandra Gomes Pinto, who is a Portuguese immigration attorney. She's going to be answering your questions about immigration. And coming out of this conversation tonight, you'll probably want to get a ticket. And then Michael, Dr. Michael, who is of Serenity Care, who will be talking about and answering your healthcare questions. So 2 of our premier sponsors for the Move to Portugal Virtual Summit are giving their time on a Saturday to answer your questions live. So if you have any questions about immigration, those are the people, right? Because they have the degrees and this is their specialty, okay? They are not someone on YouTube, right? Okay, so go to blaxitglobal.com. You'll see the last episode of the podcast. You'll see the heading, events, as I mentioned. This right here is Passport. This is our community, our amazing community of Black travelers and people who are interested in moving abroad. We have, and they're not all just moving to Portugal, right? We have one member this year that moved to Thailand in August. We had Grace, who was on season 5. She moved to Vietnam. She's having some wonderful time with her bestie. If you follow Grace on Instagram. And this year we had 13 members move to Portugal. So I've got a built-in community here, which I'm really excited. So what I wanted to show you, and hopefully it'll open in the same window. I might have to toggle just to make sure that you guys are seeing what I'm seeing. Okay, so if you go to the resources page, what I really wanted to show you, you'll see our Move Abroad Starter Kit. It'll just pop up. Let's see if it goes away. This is what I wanted to show you, the Portugal checklist. Okay, so if you go and you want to do this together, you can click on this button and then put your email address in, and then it will open up to a document and you can follow along with me. Yay. All right, so that's what I wanted to show you. But there's a lot of resources. There's articles. I write articles. Sometimes we have contributors who write for us. So if you have that on your heart and you want to contribute content, that would be fantastic, right? I would love that. I'm going to star some of these questions so that I can come back to it in a second. Okay, so I'm going to go down through the checklist because it will be helpful for some people who are coming at this cold and are focused on what happened yesterday, which is my residency. But the lead up is really important. So, okay. And let's see, my hair is doing some, we had fog in my hair, which is like, oh. Anyway, back to basics. Okay, so in order to move to Portugal, there is a company called VFS. V as in Victor, F as in Frank, S as in Sam. And they are a third party. They're not, well, they work kind of with the consulate of Portugal. And they are the people that go through the checklist and make sure that you have everything assembled. And then they ship it off to the appropriate consulate for review. If you go to VFS's website, depending on where you live in the country and where you have residency in the country, will determine. Some people, they will go to VFS. Some other people, so let's say Boston, or Newark, New Jersey, you'll go directly to the consulate. You bypass VFS. But regardless of whether you go to VFS or the consulate, the checklist is still the same. So this is pre-residency approval. What you're applying for is a residency visa. And that allows you to stay in Portugal longer than the time that your passport, and I'm assuming everybody who's watching is from the US, although I know we have people from other countries. Hey. And so US passport holders can visit Europe for up to 90 days. Within a 180-day period, your residency visa, however, allows you to stay 120 days. And the purpose of that is so that once you come into country, you can then complete the process, which I'll go into next. So what's the process? So first, you have to assemble all of these things that, like I said, irrespective of whether you go to VFS or the consulate, it's the same. And this is as of, I should also have a disclaimer, this is as of 2023, right? Countries have the right to change, and they do. And we'll go into some of the changes that have happened in Portugal. And so it's important for you to stay on top of it, to get into a community like Blaxit Global Passport, because that's my job, because I like to find out where people want to move, and then I curate content based on their interests. So that is the benefit of joining Passport. And you should see a link to join Passport in the description of this video. Okay, so for the checklist, and hopefully you guys are downloading the form and you're reading along. So you want to, let's see. Yeah, it'll be easier that way. You want to have your application filled out completely. So you can apply for a D7, which is what I have. It's a passive income / retirement visa. Retired, I love it. And then there's a digital nomad visa, which is a D8. There are also other visas. You can apply for a student visa. Some people want to go back to school. Some people want to come, let's say, to Portugal, because this is related to Portugal, but some people do a student visa. They want to learn another language. They want to study something else. Some people do a work visa permit, but pretty much you want to have a job in order to do that, because the job would then be applying on your behalf. Portugal, however, has a visa that allows you to come into the country for 4 months to look for work. So that's also for somebody who is called a job seeker visa. So if you're interested in, coming to Portugal, you want to find a job, but footnote, wages are low for Portugal, particularly if you're coming from the US. But if you're interested in doing that, that's what you can apply for, to give you time to get acclimated, et cetera, et cetera. So you figure out which form is right for you. You can go on the VFS website and choose. And then, like I said, this conversation will be centered around the D7, because that's what I did. You need to have 2 photos, right? So I had to have 4 because I had to get a new passport because my passport was expiring. Plus, I needed to have 2 pictures, and the other 2 were European size, which is different from US. So the US passport photo is larger than the European passport. It's a different size. So you want to make sure that you have it and you size it appropriately. If you do not, don't do it. So I went to Walgreens. Different stores can help you with that. So you want to have your passport. You want to have that certified. So you get a certified copy of your passport. You need to have at least 3 months on it beyond the stay of entry. And then you also want to have your personal statement. So you want to talk about why you want to move to Portugal. There's a video on this channel, an interview I did with Cam, and she's one of the co-founders of Black in Portugal. She talked about how she had originally applied for her permit to enter, no, her visa, I should say, to come to Portugal, and was initially denied. And I won't give it all away because she is here now, so you know she did something different, but definitely watch that video because I think it has really great nuggets to help you not only with your personal statement, but if you apply for permit and you get denied, right? You can feel deflated, like it's a sign that, it's not going to work out, but in actuality, it can work in your favor. So check that video out. I'm reading, so I can't see your comments right now, just so you know. And then you want to have accommodation. So I had to get, and most people do, you either have a home that you purchase or apartment that you lease. It has to be a 1-year lease. The days are gone where you can stitch together booking.coms and hotel reservations and Airbnbs to get you to 6 months. They won't allow that anymore in this post-pandemonium. So you need to have a 1-year lease. I got my lease in May and did not come to Portugal till September. So there was a lot of months that I was paying 2 rents in 2 countries and 2 different continents. But I look at it this way: if that was the investment and the price that I had to pay to enjoy the life that I have now, money well spent. And then you need to have proof of financial support. So you need to show bank statements. You need to have at least 3 months bank statements. So that'll be bank statements, investment statements. If you have a home, a deed, anything that you have to prove that you are financially able to support yourself in the country, because they got enough people to look after, right? And then you have to do a criminal background check. So you have to go to the FBI website, and there's a form. I took mine to the post office, and then they did my fingerprints, and then I got them back. Like by the time I got in the car and drove home, which was like 15 minutes, they were there. So you also need to sign. This is all before you get to this to VFS. Are you done? There's a lot. Then you also have to sign a permission for a criminal background check in Portugal. That document needs to be in English and in Portuguese. Easy enough. Take the document in English, put it in a translator, pop it back out. And then you need a copy if you're married, marriage certificate if you're doing family reunification, or a child's birth certificate. But here is the footnote here. It needs to be apostilled. So basically what happens is there's a document that is certified, and it goes back to the Hague Convention way back when countries decided, hey, when people move or do other things, we need to be able to certify that these documents, birth certificate, death records, deeds, blah, 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 are legit, particularly if the documents come in one language and you're going to a country of another. So they all agreed to this apostille, which is basically a universal certification. So you'll need to get that. You don't have to worry about birth certificates for yourself or anything like that, but if you're married, and footnote, if you're married, you also have to have your marriage recognized in Portugal too. Okay, and then lastly, are y'all tired? Because I had to go through all of this when I went to DC. You also have to have proof of health insurance. You need to have health insurance to cover you for death and repatriation. So say you come to Portugal and you're here during that 4-month period and you die and they need to get your body back to your home country. If you get into an accident, if you need medical attention, and they have the requirements in terms of how much coverage that you need to have. And it has to be a Schengen visa, Schengen health certificate. So basically it covers you throughout the Schengen countries, which there are 27. So you want to make sure you have that. Okay, so now I'm done reading that. I'm switching back over so I can see y'all. Okay, Whew. All right. After all of that, I need a sip of vino. Vino tinto. So definitely go to blaxitglobal.com. Get them resources, y'all. I be creating stuff. Okay. I see Karen got jokes. Buy me a glass of wine. Oh, yes, yes. I need to put that up there. Let's see if I can open up this window. Because this also came up at the summit. And it's on the website too, actually. You'll see like a little icon. So for those of you who are interested in buying me a coffee, here you go. I am going to pop that in there. And actually, let me just make sure I gave you the right. Yes. Okay. I was like, 35 of you have done that. And so I appreciate that. Okay. Let's see. Did it pop up? Okay. I think it popped up now. Yay. I'm going to leave that there for a little bit. Okay. So I'm switching back over. Was that part helpful? I love feedback. So let me know. Sharon said it was. Thank you, Sharon. Yay. Awesome. Because I want to help y'all. I want y'all to get free. Okay. This is even though I'm here, I do have loved ones in the States, so I do keep up with some of the shenanigans, like Kevin McCarthy elbowing homeboy in the back, and Santos, and shenanigans, y'all. Shenanigans. All right. Maureen said this was super helpful. You're welcome. Yay, yay. Vicky said it's helpful. Yay, yay, yay. All right, awesome. Okay. I appreciate that. I just like to know whether or not these things are helpful. Okay. So once you do that, you submit everything to VFS. VFS then sends it to the consulate and you get a text message. I got one by the time I drove from DC back to New Jersey. I got a text message and it was like, hey, we got your stuff and we're processing. I'm like, whoa, whoa. And so I applied for my visa. I think it was June. June. I think it was like June 1st to June 3rd. And I got it back July 6th. So it was like a little over 30 days. DC is fast, y'all. They're fast. But what I wanted to reiterate too is, like I said, this is as of 2023. When I created this checklist, when I started doing my process, and like I said, been shepherding people through Passport and on the podcast, before you could mail in all of your documents. And then in 2023, they're like, no, you got to come in person. Well, when I created my budget for my move abroad and all the expenses leading up to it, I didn't anticipate having to get a hotel, drive down to DC, stay overnight in expensive America with all the inflation inflating. And so all that is to say, definitely have a contingency budget. But you also want to make sure that you're getting the most up-to-date information because things change. So I did that, got my approval, and then entered Portugal on September 3rd of this year. Yay. And once I got my approval, although this part also is different, I got my approval, and then on the letter, it had a long, long string and a link. And then I went onto SEF's website, which is no longer SEF. Like I said, things change that quick, right? In a few months. And when I go on that website, then I was able to see my appointment. And the appointment is for you to complete the process. So it's a two-step process. Process one, which is what I went over just now, is all the things you have to do before you leave, right? This is just, hey, here's my stuff. Are you gonna let me in or not? Right, basically. And then hopefully you get a yes, and you'll have information and a link. Now, if you remember the description of this video, you saw that SEF, which was Portugal's immigration service, has now changed to AIMA. And with that change and restructuring, new process, new form. So what I've seen in the past month or so, couple weeks, maybe it's not even a month since the change, is that people who are getting their approval for their D7, D8s, whatever, right, to enter Portugal are not getting their appointment. You might be wondering, why is that important? Remember, I said you only have 120 days on that visa, that residency visa. So that allows you to enter Portugal. It allows you to leave one time after that entry. Maybe you want to go back to your home country, do some business, whatever. I used mine to go back to the States to celebrate my daughter's 18th birthday, like 2.5 weeks after I got here. But after that, you need to stay until you have that appointment. Now, if your appointment was beyond that 120 days, they won't boot you out as long as you don't leave. But again, they have a lot of leeway, right? They have a lot of leeway. And so people who are getting approval now because of the restructuring, right? They have SEF becoming AIMA, other offices combined, they are not issuing appointments. People are getting approvals, but they're not getting appointments to complete the process. I applied, like I said, and got my approval in July to enter. So I already had an appointment, but anybody who's net new, and I double checked this right before the live, it ain't happening. Okay, so just in case somebody has theirs under review right now, or just got it back and are confused, that is why. Okay, so my appointment was yesterday, and I was excited, and I had like cleared my headspace. Tuesday I had gone to Web Summit, got to see the Black fam. We showed out at Web Summit, got to see Shar and Jael and all these wonderful people, some great, great, great stuff. And then Wednesday, I was just like, okay, I got to be all ready for this, right? So what are the things that you need for your residency permit? Residency permit is slightly different. So you need to do another application, right? Different form. And remember now, SEF is AIMA. So for those of you who are in Blaxit Global Podcast or Blaxit Global Podcast Passport, you already have the new form because I shared it. And that's another benefit of being in Passport. So you don't use the SEF form because SEF no longer exists. And it asks you for all this information: your name, your parents' name, each mother, father, your date of birth, your residence, all of those things, right? Some things are repetitive from the initial one, some things are not, because the initial one didn't ask me my parents' legal name and all that other stuff, right? And your name has to match the name on your passport. So you fill all that out, and then document-wise, it's not as cumbersome as when you apply to BFS, because I felt like I had like an Encyclopedia Britannica when I went there. And then this time, all I needed, so for those of you who are taking notes, and let me know if you want me to do a form for this one too. So you need a copy of your lease, right, with signed. And that lease also needs to be registered with finances, which is like almost like a tax authority here. You need your NIF. And oh yeah, I should have said that in the BFS. You need your NIF and your bank account. I know I said the bank account, but you also need your NIF. You need your NIF. You need your lease. I brought the receipt, my most recent receipt for my rent, which showed what I paid, who I paid it to. It also had my NIF on it and his to show that it is registered. I had a copy of my phone bill to show that I do live at my residence, right? The more you can show you have ties to the country. 3 months of bank statements, and my health insurance. So the health insurance, remember I spoke about it before, you have your Schengen travel insurance, and that really should cover you. In theory, it should cover you beyond 120 days because you might be applying for your visa permit, or no, I should say visa, your residency visa in advance of your entry. So you might need 200 days, let's say hypothetically. If that date that it ends is inclusive of your SEF appointment, then you really don't need to show anything. You have time to like find the health insurer for you. But if you just want to get that process over with, which is what I wanted to do, I went ahead and got my private health insurance. You need to have private health insurance in Portugal as a foreigner because I haven't paid into Social Security here. And while I can access the public health system, it's not right, right? And it just creates like backlogs and all this other stuff. So I have private health insurance. Private health insurance in Portugal goes by your age. So you'll have different rates and there are different tiers based on your age. Usually the cutoff is like 65 or 70 in terms of coverage. What else should you know? Some health insurers want to have proof of continuous coverage, particularly for pre-existing health conditions. So if you've had heart disease, diabetes, cancer, anything like that, you might want to make sure that you have that, those statements to show that you've had continuous coverage. Otherwise, you might end up with someone else. Full transparency, 1 year of coverage for me was 1,100 euros for the year. Really reasonable and affordable. So that's really all you need for the appointment. Okay, so what I went yesterday, so I'll tell you about how the day went, and then I'll get into the questions. So I got up, got all my documents, and then I had help because I know some of you have asked. So I had Start Abroad. They helped me with the process. So like I said, all of these things are labor intensive, right? You have to download, bank statements and investment statements and all this other stuff and photocopies and all that stuff. It's still a you process. What Start Abroad did that was really great was they served more like a project manager, which is what I need because, as you know, Blaxit Global, all of the people that are in the group, my daughter who's moving to college and everything, and graduating at the time, and then moving myself here, had a lot of balls in the air, right? And could not afford for any of them to fall. So I really appreciated the help and support that I got from Start Abroad. And then when I had my appointment, they had a woman named Sonia come and help me. And so she was fantastic. She speaks Portuguese and English, and she spent about 7 years in the US. And so she was able to, I met her there and we waited in line for a few minutes and then they let us in because they don't let you in more than half an hour before your appointment time. And when I walked in, my number was 61 and they were at 57. I'm like, oh, this will go quick. Y'all do remember a couple weeks ago when I told you about when I got my Navigant card for the metro, the ferries, the buses, and the train? That was 4 hours to get that little card. I shouldn't have said it was going to be quick. I shouldn't have said it. Because like SEF changed to AIMA. There was a new form. They had new signage on the door. Like everything was different. That was a wrong assumption to make. I jinxed myself, y'all. I jinxed myself. So 57 to 58 took about 1 hour and 10 minutes for them to go from 57 to 58. And I was like, damn, how many people y'all got back there? Then it got to the guy who was 58 went in, and he was about 40 minutes. So then my helper was like, oh, I got to move my car. And I was like, girl, go ahead, because at this rate, we gonna be here all night. So she moved her car, came back. Then they picked up a little speed. This is now like 10 of 3 at that point, and my appointment was at 2, and I got there at 1:20. And made sure I had a good breakfast before I left, because I was like, had the eggs, had the grits. Shout out to our Black Utopia for hooking me up with some grits. If y'all come visit, please bring me some grits. And yeah, it was, we finally got in, and, my handler handled most of the Portuguese for me. And then all I had to do was do the photo and the fingerprints. I had to have my fingerprints taken, the biometric, right? So both my fingers. And so they said, oh, we have to take a picture. So I'm like, okay, now you can bring a picture. Remember, European size. Or because I went to the Lisbon office, which is downtown right across from Park Metro Station, which is one of the biggest ones. It's in, I forgot what the name of the street was, but in any event, it's right across from Park. Can't miss it. I was like, oh, they're like, we have the machines there. You don't have to bring a picture. Fine. So I'm all excited, right? The lipstick was lipsticking, the hair, this is before the whole, fog incident. And, I'm tall, right? So, or you probably can't tell because you're only seeing this part of me, but I'm pretty tall. And so the machine's like, she's behind this glass and I'm in the space. And then the machine's going up to my height. And so I'm looking and they're like, don't smile. Like, you can do a smile, but don't show your teeth. And I like to show the teeth. But I was like, okay, take the picture. They're like, no, this ain't working. And I remember they said something about my hair was so big. And even with my passport, like my hair kind of cuts off. And because, we got Afro-licious. And so I'm like, okay, what's the problem? I'm like, I could see it, but it looked kind of blurry. They're like, oh, something's blurry, whatever. So my handler's like wiping the camera and try it again. Nope, didn't work. Now it's doing the circle of death. And I'm like, this cannot be happening. I am not in this office. And like, by hook or by crook, y'all gonna give me this today. Okay. I'm like, oh my gosh. So try it again. Circle of death, blurred, like it freezes. I'm like, oh gosh, we hadn't even gotten to the fingerprint. So they're like, oh, we gotta go to this other one. So they take my documents and they gotta put everything back into the system. Right? So do the thing to my height, right? And that computer wasn't on. So that computer had to like reboot, and it's probably like very, very archaic. So then that one would not come on. It would not get onto the mainframe. So my handler is like turning computers on and off for them. I'm like, y'all need to run her a check. And they're like, oh, we gotta go back to the other computer. I'm like, okay. So we go back to the other computer. Third time was a charm. Finally, because they had to reboot the whole thing, whatever, and did the fingerprints, and then waited, and then a lovely form came out with my name, my birthday, my number, my address, and it was like, she approved, y'all, she approved. So that is the story. That is the story, Morning Glory. All right. So, oh, and then I had to pay. Like it was 170 euros. Thank you, Dr. Linda. Dr. Linda was on our channel. Watch that video. We were talking about her upcoming Blaxit to Cote d'Ivoire. Ooh, 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 ooh. All right. I'm going back to the top. I'm going to answer these questions. All right. Did Colleen, hey, this is Sheila. Did Colleen help you with the Airbnb when you were scouting or just finding a permanent rental? Colleen from Portugal The Place, who also did a talk at the Move to Portugal Virtual Summit. Again, y'all want to get a ticket. No. So, yes, I said two things at once. Let me say that again. Colleen, yes, helped me with getting my apartment here, my beautiful apartment in Portugal. But no, not during my scouting in terms of where I stayed. I was fortunate enough when I came this last time in April, my friend her daughter was scouting, and then they were on vacation. So I was able to spend part of the time with them. And then Portugal The Place, I met up with them daily as we looked for the apartment. All right. Let's see, I gotta go back. But great question. So, oh, I know what I was looking for. I was like, what am I looking for? Okay, I'm gonna drop the link to the Move to Portugal Virtual Summit. Get your replays. We have giveaways in there. For those of you who have pets that you want to move abroad, we've got discounts, codes, free coaching sessions. Y'all, don't miss the bus. But thank you for the question. All right. So, Anya, hey Anya. Anya was, you'll probably see Anya's name on the Buy Me a Coffee page because Anya did. Thank you very much, girlfriend. Thank you for the congratulations. Yes, it was fast. Do you know that our friends at Our Black Utopia had to wait 8 months from the time they entered Portugal to the time of their, formerly SEF, SEF appointment? 8 months. Twice the amount of time. Could not leave the country. Had to stay. So yes, coming in and having this done in a little over 2 months, I am very happy. So this is my temporary residency. So the first one is an initial 2-year period. It allows me to live in Portugal for 2 years. Yay! At the end of that 2-year period, I have the option of applying for renewal. And when I do that, the next term is 3 years. So 2 plus 3 is 5. At the conclusion of 5 years is when you can apply for citizenship or permanent residency. And I am opting for citizenship because I want to be a citizen of the EU and to travel freely, and I want another passport because the US is USing. Let's just put it that way. Yes, I did post it. Thank you again, Maureen, for the shout out and reminder. Please buy me a coffee, y'all. It helps. It helps. It helps. So where can I get the European photos? You can get them from Walgreens. If you type in like European photos, sometimes they'll come up. What happened at Walgreens is they took my photo to the size and dimensions of the European passport. They didn't have a cutter to like cut it. I'm a crafter, was a crafter. My daughter and I were crafting, especially during the pandemic. So we had paper cutters and stuff. So I just cut it to size when I got home. And then affixed one of them to my application. And then VFS when I did the initial stage. they took the other one and then they affixed it to the stuff that they sent over to the consulate. Okay, great question. All right, Anya, how long were you in country before? 2 months and let's see, yesterday was the 15th, 2 months and 12 days. And here's the fun fact too. Out of those of us who moved to Portugal that are in Blaxit Global Passport, I was the last one. Everybody else, and we all moved within 3 weeks of each other. And so Nicole and her family, so they're a family of 4, and they had theirs, gosh, within a month. And then Malcolm and Heather, like everybody had theirs. Marguerite went the day before me, and I was the last one. And maybe that's what it was supposed to be. Maybe I needed to be the last one, right? It was good though. I was still nervous though. No, I didn't need a guarantor for VFS. A guarantor comes up when you're looking for an apartment. So basically, for those of you who don't know, because I had to learn this myself, I wasn't familiar with the term. So a guarantor, so when you're going to another country, they don't know you from boo, right? I don't speak Portuguese, and even if I did, I'm a US citizen. I come into this country and I'm like, hey, I've got money to support myself and I can afford this apartment or whatever. And so to protect themselves and their interests, and it's not, exclusive to Portugal. Some countries ask that a person have a guarantor. So basically somebody who can like co-sign and be the person that in the event that you renege says, yeah, I got this. As a foreigner, again, in a country that you don't know anybody from boo, that's hard to find, or you're going to pay a pretty penny. So what I did was I looked at apartments that did not require a guarantor. And while I have friends in Portugal, I have Portuguese friends. My friend Emily, I know who Malcolm met yesterday. I had the support and stuff like that, but that's not something I would ask. So what you can do to like limit your frustration of like hearing no's is to just limit the universe, right? Like narrow the universe and come up with your list and criteria. When I look at my phone, I had a list of everything that I wanted in my apartment well before I got to this stage, like maybe a year ago. And I knew I wanted, I wanted 2 bedrooms. I have 3. But I wanted like air conditioning and, stable electricity because you probably can't see it. And I have you probably may not have noticed, I have a purple light on tonight for like, celebration. But I have like studio lights and all this other stuff. I did not need anything going out. Don't plug in one thing, gotta unplug something. So, I had my list of my criteria, and that is what I used, and I had to have a place that allowed dogs. So let that be your guide in terms of like come up with your criteria, and then also, look for places that don't require a guarantor, because that'll save you some frustration for sure. Let's see, where did I leave off? Okay. Morning love. So the self-appointment in Portugal is just validating your approval from the immigration appointment stateside, right? Yes, they can't deny you. I'm not going to go as far as to say they can't, because I've heard stories, especially since I've been here, of people who had their original approval and then they got here and they got sent back home. Yep. I think one of them, I haven't seen the video. One of my members mentioned it. I haven't had time, but it's a YouTuber that did not have, I don't know, I'm not going to misspeak. Basically, they didn't get approved. So it's not just a check the box. I think the things that you have to watch out for is just what I mentioned. What I will say, even though I had to have all of these documents for VFS, like I had to have my NIF, I had to have this certified, I had to have a copy of this, and it seemed like at the time it seemed unnecessary. It actually served its purpose. Like having my NIF early when I did allowed me to get my bank account, right? And allowed me to now have it for this stage of the process. Having my bank account in the beginning stage just meant I just needed to print off bank statements to show that I've been here, I've been buying things, I've been doing things, I've been paying rent, like I'm connected to the country. And so I wouldn't think that the second stage is more of a check the box. It's more of a, how are you going to demonstrate that you're, ingratiating yourself into the culture of whatever country that you decide to seek residency in? That's a great question. That is really a great question. But truth be told, there are people that have come, and even though they had their initial visa approved, they were denied. I also need to talk about NHR. Oh my goodness, John, thank you. I didn't even see that because, I've been toggling between screens. Thank you so much. That's so thoughtful. So proud of you. You keep me inspired every day in my paperwork journey. You're welcome. Thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate it. So yes, and so Karen asked, how is the change of agencies and forms affecting the Q4 2023 immigrants to Portugal? That is a great question and a nice little setup for what I was going to talk about. Did you need to complete the new form? Yes, had to complete the new form. They did not want to see anything that had SEF on it. SEF is gone, SEF is dead, SEF is gone. They had the new signage on the door and like real signage, not like, magic marker, all the things. So actually, let me keep this up here so I can like stay focused. So yeah, I had to complete the new form. And they're in transition. So one of the reasons that they explained why it took a while for them to go from 57 to 61, and then after me, they was flying through them. I'm like, but anyway, it's because they were training people, because there are people that were in different areas of formerly SEF that are now like maybe front office and, all this other stuff. People have new roles and all this other thing. So it was a process. It was a process. And the Lisbon office is a big one. And it does not go by where your address is, even though I live in Lisbon, and I'm very grateful that I was assigned to the Lisbon office. One of our members' spouses was assigned to an office near the Spanish border, Spain border, all the way near Spain. Excuse me. And their spouse was in the Lisbon office. So they can do a lot. And even as a family, doesn't mean you're going to get assigned your appointments the same day, the same time. Some of the documents, particularly for your family, are documents that are shared, right? Documents you need for more than one person. So if you're in different locations at the same time, like you have to think through its strategy. It's really a strategy, to tell you the truth. And I'm very grateful because some of you have been booking time with me to have some one-on-one coaching. And we've just been working on strategy. I'll drop that link because I had another one sign up last night. I know I don't like publicize it very much, but if you're in Passport, you see it obviously, but I do coaching. So I'm going to drop the link if you want to sign up and spend some time. And I do business coaching too, actually. So some people just want to riff about like how to make money. So yay. So let me see. Let me go back to like the live questions to make sure I didn't miss anything. So new process before I lose my train of thought. So if you caught the live last week, right? Went live with Our Black Utopia. We did a recap of the summit. and we talked about NHR. So we talked about it at the summit. We had our opinions about it. They were validated by our speakers. And I'm telling you, ever since the president, who, I'm a fan of, right? I took a picture with the man, right? Announced that the end of NHR, right? Which applies, kind of would have applied to me, right? But now that I have my residency approved, I can register for NHR, which I'm doing tomorrow morning, like not waiting. So like he announced that and everybody was in a tizzy, right? Investors, there was a hotel chain that was going to come to Portugal. And they were like, oh, we're pulling our $100 million investment. And some people were just like, I'm going to stop this construction project. I'm going to do this. I'm not coming, blah, blah, blah. NHR only lasts 10 years, right? And so for some people, everybody has a different financial situation. For some people, NHR really doesn't make a difference because of where they get their money, where their money is sourced, and all that stuff. We go through that in the summit. Definitely get your ticket to the summit, watch the replays. But for some people, it is very important. They need that 10 years, whether they commit to Portugal for the whole 10 years or beyond. And so it was maybe 2 or 3 days after the photo that I took with the president of Portugal that sadly the prime minister resigned. And that created this whole like, oh my gosh, right? And then it was like, NHR, is it up in the air? What's going to happen? But Portugal has its own constitution. The prime minister's resignation meant that, there was basically a dissolution, and all of these processes have happened. And so I shared in the group yesterday that now there's an extension, but don't get too excited, y'all. So there is an extension of the NHR till December 31st of 2024. If you read the press release, which I shared yesterday in the Blaxit Global Passport, as well as in the Move to Portugal Virtual Summit Facebook group, right, which is exclusive to ticket holders of the Move to Portugal Virtual Summit, it is still alive because we're in there answering questions. It is only for people who are like me, right? So people who are currently here, who are awaiting their appointment, who haven't applied. It's for people who have their approval, but they're entering on December 31st or January 1st, right? And they've already started the process, right? Gotten rid of a home, an apartment, started to do the transition from their home country to Portugal. And then they're finding out, what? No NHR? And again, NHR might not have been the main reason why you chose Portugal. I would hope not. But it's like an icing on the cake type of thing. And to have it go, like I said, put people in a tailspin. And so what they did was make this exclusive extension. And there's a list of criteria that you need to, like conditions basically, that who it applies to and who it does not. So all that is to say, for anybody who thinks that this extension is a Hail Mary and, oh, we're in the clear and I can put it off another year, stop kicking the can, stop, changing where the goalpost is. Like at some point, you need to take your foot off the dock and get in the boat, right? So I want to encourage you to do it. And even if you're afraid, do it afraid, because you don't know what's on the other side. There's a lot of amazing things that are on the other side. And I know some of you, and that's actually what I was trying to pull up before, and I did not. Some of you have been seeing my interview I did at my house, my house here in Portugal, with, let me see if I can pull it up while I'm in the live. With Melanin Man Travels. So Kevin was here Kevin and I did a YouTube live a few months ago to talk about his move to Guadalajara. He is visiting Portugal. You've probably seen him in some of the videos that I posted on Instagram and here. And so I did a sit down interview, my first sit down in my home for about an hour. And it was a wide ranging interview. So let me just pull up the link. I know I shared it in the group and I shared it for our channel members. I'm going to share it for y'all to watch and support his channel. It's great content. And for all the people that say, like, oh, we're the Black men out here, they're out here. Okay. There's a men's group in Blaxit Global Passport. There's a men's group that meets here in Portugal. If you've seen some of the photos, it's quite a lot. There was like a party that the men put together. There's a lot, right? So, and I just did that, and guess what? That is not the right link. Let's try this again. Okay, here it is. Here it is. I found it. Okay, this is the link. Okay, I'll put that in there. So those of you who want to watch it, see a little bit of my place and a lot of what I have to say. All right, let's see. Okay, you guys got some new questions for me. Okay, let me see. Where am I? Oh, I answered Sheila's question. Yep. And so, oh, hey, Cart Donut, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. $10, thank you. Thank you. Love the support. I appreciate your content. Thank you so much. I'm inspired to move. Please do. The water is warm. I mean, it's been warm here in Portugal, right? I'm from the Northeast. I've lived, 49 years in the Northeast. And it's been great to go outside without a jacket. I don't have, for the first year in my adult life, I don't feel like I have seasonal affective disorder. It's just very, calm and serene. After my approval, I took myself to El Corte Inglés and had a lovely dinner. And of course, I didn't have wine, but I had a wonderful passion fruit, basil, gin, beautiful little thingy. I took a video of it. And then treated myself to gelato from Nanarella's. Finally, I made it my way there. Tiramisu. It was so good. And I had all of that, and it was still under 20. No, it was under 30 euro. So definitely. Let's see. Yes, I think they are passing the budget. And if you are on Sandra Gomes Pinto's mailing list, she sent out an email a couple hours ago. And then, like I said, if you're an all access pass ticket holder for the Move to Portugal Virtual Summit, you will have a session with her this Saturday at 3:30 our time, followed by a session with Dr. Michael to talk about healthcare. It is not too late to get your ticket to the Move to Portugal Virtual Summit because, like I said, we have live content on Saturday. I'll be here in this here chair, and Rick Halisi and I and the men's group will be meeting. The men's talk, I should say, will be happening again as well. Yeah, you know what? It's NHR is a nice to have because, and we talked about it in the summit. Everybody has a different financial situation, and not just financial situation. It being NHR depends on the source of your income, right? Is this coming from passive income, investments, active income, right? You're working. Is it coming from Social Security, a pension? All of these things, right? YouTube, right? And so you need to know not only your financial picture, but who's paying you money, right? Who's supporting your lifestyle? And so, like I said, for some people, an HR doesn't make sense. And for others, it completely does. And so that's where those sessions, we did 2 sessions at the Move to Portugal Virtual Summit on taxes, because US citizens, regardless of where you move in the world, have to pay taxes back to, them peoples. And so you want to know the US side of the equation for those of you who are watching that are from the US. And then for Portugal, because it's what this conversation is about, we had a tax professional talk about the Portugal side of the equation and what's different, what's similar, and demystifying, because people hear 48% here and, all this other stuff, right? So there's 2 sessions. The experts go in and tell you. And then I know Greta shared this yesterday, I think on her Instagram, that the foreign earned income exclusion is going up for 2024. So if you're abroad, you can exclude up to $120,000 of your income that you otherwise would have to pay taxes for in the US. Another reason why you should move abroad faster, right? So, and we have workshops on that in Blaxit Global Passport too. Let's see. John asks, when you got your FBI background check, did you have to get that translated? No. So great question. So what I did do, so I mentioned that I got the fingerprints at the post office before I even got home. I got the report. I opted for an email version. That email version is not valid for VFS. I'm going to say it again. The email version is not valid for VFS, for the consulate, for any of this, right? It's for you. Because some people are concerned, like, that time I ran a red light, or somebody might have a DUI or misdemeanor, whatever, right? And they're worried about whether or not that's going to become an issue for them. Or they just want to know, is the FBI having some misinformation? Because, they've been known to have dossiers on people that don't need it, but I'll take another sip for that one. Anyway, so it's good to have. About a week after I did my fingerprints, they came in the mail. That package, do not open that. Don't open it. Don't even. You'll know that it's from the peoples. Don't open it. Because if you do open it, then you have to have it apostilled, right? Because basically the FBI is an official, right, government entity. The US Postal Service is also an official government entity. But once you break that seal and you open the document, well, it's been compromised. You could have made it up, could have printed it off at home, right? Could have taken that thing. Changes the validity of the document. So at present, 2023, they are accepting the sealed envelope as in lieu of having apostilled, however you want to, tomato. So that's what I would say. Now, could that change? Sure. Some people want to do it just for peace of mind. But I personally didn't have to do that at all, and they accepted it. I know there are people, I think it was, I don't remember which interview it was. It was on the podcast or the YouTube channel. There were people that requested their FBI background check, and they opened it unbeknownst to them a few times until they were like, oh, don't open it, right? But it comes in this gigantic white envelope. I just was like, okay, I knew because I've watched enough videos, talked to enough people, I knew what to look out for because it doesn't say, oh, FBI on it, right? It's just like, it just has your name. And you're like, whoo. So that's how I do. How's Bailey? She's good. She good. She got a little dirty face because Bailey loves to be out in these streets. She's the happiest dog. She barely burps. She barely barks anymore because in the States, she was always like, her breed typically doesn't bark. And when we first got her, she didn't bark. But then, my neighbors and the kids around the neighborhood and stuff, she was just like worked up. But here, she's fine. She loves being outside, loves going on for long walks. When I try to bring her on short walks and come back to the house, she's like tugging and tugging. She living her best little puppy life. She has her pet passport. She had her pet passport second day we moved here. She been official longer than me. Okay. Meg said, she's asking, how does the cost of rent in Portugal differ from rent mortgage in the States? I assume it's less expensive, or does it depend on what state you're coming from? Great question. I wouldn't make too many assumptions to the short end. I was talking to a friend over the weekend, and they are a scout. And there were people who were looking at property, I guess it's 2 towns over, and their minimum budget was 9,000 euros a month. Everything's relative. So are there people that have moved here that have gotten 800 euro apartments? Absolutely. Are there people that have paid considerably more? Sure. It all depends. All depends on what you want. All depends on your style preferences. I probably should clarify that. When I came in 2022, I had a game plan, and I stayed in Porto. I stayed in a T0 because I wanted to see what a T0, a studio, looked like. Because they're on the metric system here, which is different from the States. And so I couldn't really conceptualize. I'm a visual learner. I couldn't conceptualize the space. So I was like, okay, I need to just stay in one. So I stayed in one for a few days. I stayed in a T2 to get a feel. Is this too much space? Is this just right? And then I stayed in a T. Did I stay in a T1? Yes. I stayed in T1, the last one in Belém. But that one was different in that it was a traditional Portuguese apartment. So the one I stayed in Porto was more modern, and it was a remodel, but it was very modern. I did the video on, we went live from there, my live scouting video that showed that apartment. And then the T2, which was right off of Park, that was a remodel. So it was like, yeah, I would say it was, kind of more modern. But the one that I stayed in Belém was a traditional Portuguese apartment. And that's when I realized I did not want a traditional Portuguese apartment. It's, they're used to like big furniture and dark wood. And so what happens is, especially if the apartment or space does not have a lot of light, it can make it feel very, very dark. And I just didn't vibe with that. When I stayed in April of this year, when I did my scouting, I stayed again in another traditional Portuguese apartment because I wanted to give myself enough, like, was it just this place, or did I just not like the style? And this was a very, very big apartment. I think it was 4 or 5 bedrooms. It was in Odivelas, at the end of the yellow line, if you're looking at a metro map. And it was traditional. So again, the big furniture, a lot of wood everywhere. And I was just like, it felt very dark. Like the old, had the tiles and stuff, like tiles everywhere. And so my style is more like modern or a mix of the two. And so I knew for what I was looking for, I wanted to eliminate traditional. But all that is to say, you'll have to think about that. If you want a traditional Portuguese apartment, it's probably going to be hella more affordable. Because, truth be told, expats tend to want to live around other expats, right? They're like, oh, I have people to hang out with, blah, blah, blah. For me, I wanted to have a more of an experience. And actually, I was having this conversation with Char last night because I found when I'm in Lisbon proper, in the city of Lisbon proper, it's easy. It's easy. It's easy. It's a soft landing. I do not have to use Portuguese. I go to the mall like last night, or no, 2 nights before. They will accommodate me in English. I will start in Portuguese. They were like, oh, you want us to speak in English? They will accommodate. I did not want that. Because if I'm going to learn this language, I need to be sitting in the uncomfortable. I need to stumble over my words. I need to, like when I was at Web Summit and I ordered 2 beers and I was like, oh, proud of myself because I remembered cervejas. And then I said, oh, Deutsch. And he said, Duas. I said, Deutsch, Duas, Duas. Said, oh, okay. Right. And I welcome that, right? I need the feedback. I ask you guys for feedback, right? And so last night, when I went to Nanarella's after, and like I was talking to the woman that waited on me at the end, and she's from Colombia, and we were talking, and she was like, how long have you been here? And we're having this conversation in Portuguese, right? And because she asked me if I wanted to talk in English, and I'm like, no. And then I asked the gentleman, because I was trying to figure out where Nanarella's was. I didn't realize it was behind me. And then I said, and then I didn't know the word for never mind. I was like, never mind. And they were like, oh, you want us to speak in English? And I was like, no. And I told them in Portuguese, I was like, no, I'm learning. I won't learn if you make it easy for me. And so I did the whole transaction, ordered it, stumbled over a few things. But that's how you grow. That's how I grow, right? I want to relish in the uncomfortable. So all that is to say is that if you want to live among Portuguese people, you will pay Portuguese prices. If you choose to live where foreigners live, you will pay foreigner prices. I want to live among the locals because A, affordability, and B, just helping me with my language. And I say affordability across the board, not just in where you are living, but the food, right? You're buying groceries, you're doing everything. In the more expensive areas, everything is expensive, right? So if I'm going and eating in Saldana and I'm living in Saldana, I'm going to pay more than somebody who's living, in Moscovite or Odevelis, for example. And so sometimes people want to be in those trendier spots, Arroyos and Baixas, Chiado and Rocio and everything, Rocio. But maybe you need to look at, Entre Campos and Carnaçal, some of the, ones that are near the line, on the line, if you're looking at Lisbon. Or if you want to have a car and go further out, you can look at Nazaré and some of the other places. It's probably a good time to segue into the fact that I have the Scout House. So for those of you who want to scout, the rooms are going quick. So I will be your hostess with the mostest. I am hosting Nomad Noir 2024 in August. So you can choose a 3-week or a 1-week stay, and I will be your hostess with the mostest. We will scout. We will go and find those hidden gems. We will have conversations with expats. We'll do some activities together. We'll have all loads of fun. I'm already getting questions about 2025. Let me get through 2024 and feedback, because I love feedback. And so that's on sale. But like I said, the rooms are going. and also the meetup. So many of you signed up for the meetup. Oh my goodness. So we are doing, Malcolm called it the Blaxit River Cruise. So we are renting a boat for Juneteenth, and I think it was, it's on the page. I think I posted it in the description of this video. But if not, just let me know. I'll look at it afterwards because that link I don't actually have on here. But yeah, we're hosting, our Black Utopia and I are joining forces once again, and we are doing a celebration. So we're going to have a nice meetup. Pierre's going to ask me for this link. Let me see if I can get it. Hold up. Y'all gonna have to bear with me because I know what I did not do, I just remembered, was I did not put it in my sheet that I keep all my links. Where did I just sent it to someone. Oh, I know where it is. Okay, let me grab it and email it to myself. And then, yeah. Can I send it this way? Yeah, I'll email it to myself. Okay, stand by. I'm gonna get it to y'all. We're doing this live. Okay, let's see. And So the meetup is going to be fantastic, right? We're going to have this boat, we're going to party, and it's going to be days before my 50th birthday. So yeah, now it's going to be a turn up. But see, my turn up isn't like other people's turn up, so but it's going to be a turn up. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Okay. So Pierre and Angela, here it is. Wait, let me put a title. Oops. Okay, there y'all go. Yay! All right. See, I got it. Oh, actually, let me remember. Well, I got the link. I'm gonna put it on my sheet so I don't forget. All right. All right. There we go. Now, when y'all ask me again, I don't have to like go and email it to myself. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, Yoga Bliss Dan said, yeah, expat bubble keeps us in English no matter what country. Yeah. No matter what country. I started doing my grocery list in Portuguese, at least most of it. And just, training my brain every day. Like I'm hearing more and I can like discern certain things from the dialect. So it's been good. We cannot see Bailey because she is in bed. Last week she was here, but she is in bed. Oh yeah, I got a whole bunch of new questions. Okay, let me go back. Okay, I answered that. I'm not sure, Karen, where you can find income sources. Probably in the Move to Portugal Summit. I think we had 2 sessions that included NHR, one from Sandra Gomes Pinto and one from Sandra Thompson. Or you can reach out to them for sure and see. Let's see. Okay, let's see. Portuguese lawyer mentioned that I may need to get the background checked done twice because it's only valid for 3 months. Yes, that is correct. It does. Some of these documents have a shelf life. And so just be mindful of your timeline, which if you're in the Blaxit Global passport community, there's timeline workshop. So you shall see that. Okay. Okay. You mentioned that you shipped some items. Yes, I did. I used Portugalia. They are out of Newark, New Jersey. So they have a warehouse here. They have a like a dock in Newark, and then they have a showroom that has like you could order appliances, all kinds of stuff. They're super reasonable. And they get your stuff here. There was no issues. Everything was fine. It was so funny. I asked someone, one of our members came and they were doing their scouting. I'm just going to drop the link for you, Portugalia. She brought me, I wanted some command strips so I didn't have to like, put stuff in the walls. And I hung it because I got the command strips, right? And right, this was on the ship. Made it. I bought it in New Jersey, made it the 3,400 miles to Portugal. Then I, put it in the closet, and I was like, okay, then I got the command strips and more settled in the apartment, the furniture and all that stuff. I was like, oh, let me put it up. And I put it up, follow directions, and I come in here, and I hear, psh, and I'm like, oh. And I go in, and Bailey's all like nerved up. And glass on the floor, and the frame's all broken. I'm like, but I salvaged it, y'all. Not the frame and all the glass, but I salvaged it. Let me move that way. See, she designed a life she loved. The she is me. So the sentiment stayed. I was like, well, I really just wanted the message. But yeah. It made it through Portugalia. They got it here safe and sound, but yep. Let's see, where will my children be visiting? Yes, my daughter is coming in January. My brother is coming in March. And then I have some other visitors. No, I want to go to Madeira. I caught Driven Spices, the replay. She went to Madeira. Actually, my friend that she stayed over last weekend. She's going to Madeira, I think, in like 2 weeks. So, in round trip, I think it's like 50 euros. I'm going to Italy, though, in like 2 weeks. I'm taking a little break before I go deep in podcast mode. I'm going to do a little bit of recording and then take a break and then do a little bit more, and then I'll be in y'all ears. Let's see. What areas would you recommend for a stay or either a visit when you're immigrating there? It's a nice, quiet area. So I'm a little biased. So after my approval yesterday, and I realized how close I was to my very, 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 very all-time favorite park in Lisbon is Park Eduardo. Probably seen it in the pictures. I posted a picture there. It has like the maze. That was the very first flat that I stayed in, was right across from that park. I love that park. Estufa Fria is in there. It's like a botanical garden. It is worth well, at the time, I think last year I went, it was like, under €2. I love that park. So I went and I sat there and I just soaked it all in. So I love that area. Marques Pombal is beautiful. Sadania. And then really right now, I'm obsessing with Seychelles, which is on the other side of the river. And I've gone a couple times to Seychelles. I could probably see myself there next, for sure. So I would look there if you're looking at Lisbon proper, or like I said, if you want to go further out, so still on the metro, but not in the city center, you can look at Odivelas, Olaish, Arroyos. So yeah, there's some great spots, right? It's just what are you looking for, and what are you okay with, right? Are you okay being somewhere where you're going to have to speak Portuguese, that there's not going to be a lot of English, that there's not even going to be an English option on the ATM, right? Are you okay with that level of comfort? Or do you need the creature comforts? So I think that's the thing that you want to like figure out. Yes. Did you have global entry? Yes, I did. No lines, no waits. Yes. No, having global entry or not didn't change anything. Actually, my global entry is up for renewal, I think, in a few months. So I gotta get on that. Let's see, what else? Ordering furniture. So my apartment was completely empty. If you remember the picture I posted when I first got it, and maybe 2 weeks before I arrived, I ordered a sofa bed, and Portugal, the place was awesome. They came, they got it set up and everything. And so that's what Bailey and I slept on for the first 3.5 weeks until I ordered a bed and had to wait for that to arrive. And then I also ordered, in Europe, they have these beds that kind of lift up. You can have storage underneath, and that's what I wanted. So I had that, and then I hire people. I outsource everything. Like today, I had the housekeeper came and cleaned the house. So the gentleman from TaskRabbit came and assembled a few things, this desk, my bed, and then I hired someone else because he wasn't available when I needed it put together. And so I had my table and my TV stand. So yes, but like a week, maybe 2. But in Portugal, the thing that you have to keep in mind is when you order something, don't leave the house. Don't do it. You order it, you can probably leave like first 2 or 3 days, maybe even 4, because usually it doesn't come that fast. But day 5, day 6, as long as it's not a weekend, you might want to stay home for a few days because they don't tell you when they come. They just show up. No call, no window, no nothing. It's just like, ding dong, here's your stuff. And it's like, but what if I was out at the store? Mm-mm. So that's what happened with me. I was out, and I forgot what came that day or was attempted to be delivered. And I think it was a TV stand. And the only reason why I knew they came was because my building, I have this, what do you call it, intercom. So you ring the bell, it takes a picture and a video. And then if you don't answer, like it just flashes, let me know somebody was here. And I see this man's face I don't recognize. And I'm like, oh, shoot. I missed it. Damn it. And so like the next day they go like, oh, we're trying to deliver the thing. Like, damn, bro, you had told me I'd have stayed home. So yes, things show up. I do order from Amazon. I have got the lights, although Amazon's being lied, it came like way later than I needed. Some things came on time, some things didn't. I tried ordering the other day from Amazon Germany, because your girl got big feet. I told you I'm tall, right? And I am tall considering that most Portuguese people are of average height. And so their feet aren't as big as mine. And I was running into challenges finding shoes. So I was like, okay, think outside the box, Amazon Germany, because they got some big old people in Germany. And sure enough, they did. I mean, they had the same style shoe, but the gentleman told me at the mall when I went the other night, because the malls here stay open till midnight every night. Oh my gosh. At first, I thought it was crazy till the other night when I did laundry and I hung my stuff to dry and my sheets weren't dry in time. 10 o'clock at night, I went to the mall and bought some new sheets. That came in handy. But yes, the man was like, you're not going to find your size. And I was like, oh, damn, bro. Don't hurt me. So, yeah, if you are tall-ish and female especially, Size 10 you can find, but anything above, you can find it. Not here. Italy, I'm gonna look. London, any place else, but they, it makes sense, right? You're gonna buy a bunch of sizes and you're never gonna sell it. It doesn't make sense. So I get it. What steps did you need to take to make your move for your pet abroad? I have a cat. You just be sure to shots are up to date. It's a lot. It's a lot. We covered it in the Move to Portugal Virtual Summit. We had Start Abroad, did that whole session. And we actually have a giveaway that two people that were like the first place and second place winner didn't have pets. So we need to kind of rethink that. So I think what we're going to do is like anybody who is signing up for the replays and watching the session, we'll try to reassign. But all that is to say, you could buy you a ticket, watch the replay, and you might win that package. Seychelles. No, you're right. It does sound like the Seychelles. Let's see. No. Shall. I'm going to put that SEIXAL. And I had to be careful because autocorrect wants to omit one letter and add a U in there. And I'm like, every time, and I'm like, it's not sexual, it's Seychelles. Let's see. Risa, when did you decide you wanted to move out of the USA? Actually, when I was a little girl. And how long did it take for you to make the move? Let's see, 30 something years. It's been a long time coming, y'all. I used to journal about it, write about it, made attempts in previous lives, and it did not happen. And so I finally had to make it happen for myself, and I'm happy I did. But from the time I recommitted to the journey, it was 2017 when I went to New Zealand on my first solo trip, and I cried my eyes out the day before, or the day I was supposed to fly back, and I was like, 2023, that's where it's got to be. So yeah, it was 6 years. 6 years from the time I made the decision to the time I actually got here, right? So I had kids, had to graduate, get them off to college, that whole thing. It's a lot. It was a lot. It was a lot. I think I got all the questions. All right. I think we did it. Hour and 42 minutes. Okay. Awesome. Thank you, y'all, for coming and celebrating with me and giving me all the warm vibes. I will be live again next Thursday is Thanksgiving for you, right? Because it is not here. Or I think we're going to do a Friendsgiving. So that, right? The 23rd is Thanksgiving. Am I right? I think it is. Okay. So, I don't know. Some of y'all may want to take a little break from your family and hang out. Some of y'all might not want to. I don't know where I'm going to be. Maybe I'll post a video. I don't know. It's a little weird because I'm like, you guys are having holidays that I don't have now. Teresa, I take a 6 month sabbatical in 2024. Is that enough time to get a visa? Yes, it is. Absolutely. Jametta, hey, you made it. And Angel, how are you? Yes. See you on Saturday. Yes, y'all will see me on Saturday. If you have a ticket to the Move to Portugal Virtual Summit, you will see me on Saturday. I will be here. I will be answering questions, facilitating questions. It's going to be a wonderful thing. And like I said, I'll think about what I'm going to do next Thursday. Oh, I guess, well, since I have y'all here, you can answer this question for me. quickly. So I had some ideas for like next week, whether or not, I go live. So would it be helpful to talk about why 2024 should be your year? Or would it be helpful to do a workshop style on ideas and ways you can make money abroad? So either, or something else might pop in my brain between now and then. But let me know if either of those sound interesting to you. It's kind of like what's floating around in my head right now. But I won't keep you. You can either put it in the comments, or if you're watching a replay, thanks for watching the replay. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to this channel. I have a goal of hitting 5,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So please help me get there. And so I'm getting for some feedback. Yay. All right. Making money sounds good. Workshop style. Okay. Wasn't sure if that was like too much on Thanksgiving dinner, like belly and tryptophan. So if you guys are okay with that, I will do that. Because like I said, it's not Thanksgiving for me. So we could do that. And we talked about some ways that you can make your money abroad. All right. Awesome. Thank you guys for the congrats. I am so happy that you shared in this joy and excitement. I am official. I have my 2-year residency in Portugal, my home. I'm very happy. I went to bed the other night and I was a visa holder, and now I am an official resident. The air is good, the feeling is good, I'm warm and fuzzy, and even better to spend this time with you. So thanks for rocking with me. I'll see you next week. In the meantime, listen to the Blaxit Global podcast. All right. I'll talk to you later. Bye bye.